Reddit by Reddit recap. What's the most NSFW outfit you've seen that someone actually wore to work? Halloween party one year and a guy I worked with came in dressed as a cowboy and his technician, who he was having an affair with and was 20 years younger than he was, came in as a very scantily clad Native American. One of the agents I was teaching in a call center wore a dress so low cut and so short that when she moved the wrong way I saw everything. Another girl liked wearing corsets to make her boobs spill out of her shirt and hoodies that said inappropriate things like blow me. She couldn't understand why HR kept pulling her in for meetings. On Valentine's Day, a new hire dressed like Cupid. He wore a white shirt decorated with red hearts and a white tie with a large heart on the center of it. Then, his pants were also white, but with angels going up and down the legs. Everyone loved it, especially the female employees, but his supervisor told him to go home and change because it was a distraction. We had a human resources manager that would wear sheer white dress shirts to work. Her nips were dark as heck and you could see them across the room through the shirt. In the sun, you could almost see through the shirts. This started a few months after the sale of the company to another firm. They moved their own people into top management positions. A month or two into the wardrobe change, the general manager made an inappropriate pass at her. She sued and was awarded close to 10 years worth of her salary. This lady had a full professional business suit, everything nice and proper, except the shirt. Her black patterned shirt was semi-transparent and she didn't wear a bra. The receptionist at a professional office I worked at thought it was okay to wear an oversized two-part t-shirt with no pants and slippers to the office for her first official day. Overall very confusing because she wore a beautiful outfit for her interview. Edit. Yes, I am aware that I wrote t-shirt. And at this point I'm not going to fix it. That shit's hilarious. I saw a PA wearing a full-on porn actress schoolgirl uniform and walking up and down the office over and over. All the men were acting like dogs watching tennis on TV. Wasn't a job but a job interview. I was doing a remote interview via Skype and the woman being interviewed was driving a car. She was so obese and she propped her phone up against the speedometer so she could use both hands to drive. When she set up the phone it was clear that she was wearing a very large and loose tank top with no bra and big ass sunglasses. At one point she asked me to wait and I said sure, until I realized she was ordering food in the Wendy's drive-thru. When I called her out on it she tried to pick up her phone and dropped it between her legs. This is the moment my team led and I saw her bare vagina. I just hung up and threw her resume away. A girl I knew wore a see-through mesh top to work without a bra in a call center I once worked at. Oddly enough she wore it about 3 times before she was eventually pulled up about it. Can't think why. Worked in call centers for many years. Seen a few. Lots of poor choices. Current employer is awesome. And the dress code is basically no pajamas, no visible underwear, and if you stink, we have showers. Use them before work. Neon hair, piercings, tattoos, it's all good. C-level management has been known to run around in shorts and t-shirts. The CEO does press conferences wearing jeans. Casual is absolutely fine. Company also pays very well, has good benefits, great work environment. I'm constantly surprised by the number of people who abuse the system and push the rules. Saw one newish hire recently wearing a strapless tube top, no bra, a super tight mini skirt, no panty lines, and stripper boots. Raised an eyebrow, wondered how long she would last. There seems to be an inverse relationship between the NSFW-ness of the new hire's outfit and their ability to actually do the job. I mean, she wasn't technically violating the dress code, no visible underwear. Sigh. NSFW in a different way. I worked in a law firm with a fairly casual dress code. Jeans and t-shirt were acceptable, but just barely. The legal assistants regularly took documents to the local county courthouse for filing. One legal assistant came in wearing a Duck the Police t-shirt. I wasn't his boss but I couldn't resist telling him he couldn't wear that shirt to the courthouse. He borrowed a sweater from someone. I worked in a very stuffy, old, and famous law firm. Last year on Halloween a very attractive young female attorney came in wearing a skin-tight black cat suit with cat ears on. It didn't show any skin, but it didn't need to. She was clearly not wearing a bra and her nipples were very visible. So was the fact that she was wearing a lace thong underneath. This was the kind of office where men wore ties every day and women wore skirt suits or pantsuits at all times. Nobody said anything to her as far as I know, but it was whispered about for a while. I try very hard not to sexualize my co-workers, who are all brilliant and accomplished lawyers and not objects of fantasy, but that costume made me ask why not both? I have a similar story, except not so sexy. I used to work in a pretty reputable, internationally known consulting agency. It was Halloween and we were all told not to dress up. We see clients regularly on site and have a formal dress code. I get on the elevator and there is this young girl I work with dressed in an oversized cow costume. She didn't get the memo apparently. Then, it just so happens that the VP also gets on. Nobody says anything but I could feel her embarrassment the entire elevator ride as this solo cow rides the elevator surrounded by people in suits. Girl where I worked came with a cut t-shirt, showing her side breasts and wearing no bra. Manager came and told her to go home and get changed so she wouldn't catch a cold. I worked for an instrument supplier and was installing equipment at a customer site. Pharmaceutical company. It was around Halloween and Hugh Hefner had just died. Lots of employees were going around, including in the lab space, dressed like Playboy bunnies. Not that their outfits were that skimpy, especially those who were in labs, but it was still weird seeing a bunch of scientists at work in bunny ears, boaties, and cottontails paying tribute to Playboy. Topless. I'll explain. I walked in on the very attractive 19-year-old receptionist while she was examining her big breasts. They were completely out there as she had pulled her top to her waist. I told her to put those away and she giggled and apologized. Was she in a private room, break area, or all gender bathroom? Nope. This was at the front desk and a client could have walked in at any moment. Before that job she was a stripper at a full nude strip club. Call centers on the weekends. There was one Saturday it was like all the girls on the team came straight from a lingerie party. One girl was wearing a lace teddy with lace boy shorts. I mean there was just enough pattern to keep the bits mostly covered. On the other end of the spectrum someone wore a bathrobe to work one day. We weren't sure if there was anything under it. In a fairly formal office, the owner was holding an employee appreciation luncheon. Spouses welcomed. One guy's wife showed up in jeans solo cut. You'd have been able to tell if she had a Brazilian or not except for the G-string covering the area. She had the body for it, but it wasn't the place to be showing it. Not quite up to the standards here, but the funniest one I have seen in the last few years was the day we had to sit through ethics and compliance training to be told about not accepting bribes and gifts, and one of my team turned up wearing all branded gear that he'd been gifted from one of his suppliers. One girl wore a pair of black leggings that were so thin you could see the color and pattern of her underwear from 50 feet back. When I was in college working for our student government, one of my co-workers showed up in tights that were so small you could clearly see every outline of her vagina. Not to be graphic, but she was a small girl with a larger area. There was a lot to notice. Our boss told her to go home and get changed. She got her back up about slut shaming. What preceded was an embarrassing hour-long meeting with her, our boss, the student government president, the dean, our internal ombudsman and legal counsel. Like, on the spot. It was in an office, which didn't have good soundproofing, so I heard the whole affair. She sounded willing to concede defeat after 5 minutes, but that kept going. I wasn't even involved nor had to deal with any of it, but listening to it gave me chest palpitations from second-hand embarrassment. Law firm receptionist in a sheer-up miniskirt with a thong underneath. Hospice central office. Secretary is looking to catch some doctor. Fishnet stockings. Skirt that shows the bottom of her butt. No underwear. Maybe a G-string. MD comes in and states, "What? Is this a strip club now?" I about fell out of my chair. I work in a research lab. There are a lot of foreign people here. Like, Just printed Visa, not a word of English foreign. There are often t-shirts in English that were bought in other countries. My favorite was a very sweet tiny, pregnant Chinese woman wearing a maternity shirt that said "Oops, I did it again." This one woman just skipped on panties sometimes. She wore a skirt every day, working in bookkeeping so people were rarely there, but every once in a while I'd notice and try not to look. Playboy bunny outfit. I was a server at a semi-nice casual restaurant that was frequented by business people. It was Halloween and we were encouraged to wear costumes. One of our hostesses wore this and our manager didn't flinch until a customer complained. Best comment of the day. Well endowed and beautiful young lady came to work with a crop top t-shirt, no bra and jeans shorts so short her cheeks were fully exposed. I lowered the air conditioning unit, POW her nipples exploded. Caught her rubbing them, and she said sorry her puppy's nose is hurt. The only thing her shorts hid was the color of her carpet. When she sat down and crossed her legs we could see that as well. I wanted to ask her out as did every guy at work, but I'm way too shy. God, she was built